My best friend fell asleep on my shoulder. Then he whispered my name. What does it mean when your best friend says your name in his sleep? And can one quiet moment change the way you see a friendship forever? Hey, everyone, welcome back. Before we get into today's story, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Thank you for spending your time here, for listening, and for continuing to support the stories we share. It truly means a lot to have you along for the journey. And before we begin, tell me in the comments, if your best friend whispered your name while asleep on your shoulder, would you mention it when he woke up, or keep it to yourself? Now settle in, get comfortable, and let's begin. Don't leave yet. Logan Mercer stopped breathing. Not dramatically, not in the poetic way people described moments that changed their lives. His lungs simply forgot what they were supposed to do because Ryan Calloway was asleep against his shoulder. Their hands were somehow touching between them, and Ryan had just whispered Logan's name like it belonged somewhere inside a dream. It was 11:47 p.m., and the train back to Chicago rocked gently beneath them. Outside the window, scattered lights slipped across the darkness, appearing and disappearing before Logan could focus on them. Most of the passengers around them were asleep after the long wedding weekend. Ryan had lasted maybe 20 minutes before losing his battle with exhaustion. First, his head had dipped forward, then sideways. Then, without warning, it had landed on Logan's shoulder. Logan had immediately become the world's least convincing statue. 6 years of friendship should have prepared him for this. They had shared hotel rooms, road trips, terrible diner breakfasts, family emergencies, birthdays, breakups, and enough late-night conversations to qualify as unpaid therapy. Ryan had seen Logan cry exactly twice and had politely pretended not to notice both times. Logan knew Ryan hated raisins, loved old bookstores, and always rubbed the back of his neck when he was nervous. This was Ryan, his best friend, his safest person, which was exactly why Logan had spent almost 2 years refusing to examine the dangerous little ache that appeared whenever Ryan smiled at him across a crowded room. Friendship was safe. Friendship lasted. Wanting more was how people ruined things. So Logan had become extremely talented at wanting nothing. At least, that was the official story. Ryan shifted closer. Logan looked down. Soft shadows moved across Ryan's face as the train passed beneath another row of lights. His dark blonde hair had fallen across his forehead, and the exhaustion he had been hiding all evening had finally softened his expression. Logan resisted the urge to brush the hair away. Barely. You're going to owe me a new shoulder, he whispered. Ryan didn't wake. Logan smiled despite himself. Then Ryan murmured something. Logan's smile disappeared. Logan, his name. Quiet. Sleep heavy. Unmistakable. Logan stared straight ahead. Okay. Fine. People said names in their sleep. Completely normal. Maybe Ryan was dreaming Logan owed him $20. Maybe Dream Logan had stolen his coffee. Maybe, don't leave yet, Ryan whispered. Every ridiculous explanation vanished. Logan slowly turned his head. Ryan remained asleep. Then something warm brushed Logan's fingers. Ryan's hand moved across the seat between them, searching without purpose until his fingers found Logan's. They curled around them. Logan looked down at their joined hands. His heartbeat stumbled. He should move. He knew he should. Instead, his fingers closed gently around Ryan's. And then Ryan smiled in his sleep. Logan forgot every sensible thought he had ever had. Ryan woke 23 minutes later and immediately made everything worse. He lifted his head from Logan's shoulder, blinked at the dark window, then looked down at their hands. His fingers were still wrapped around Logan's. Oh, that single syllable contained enough embarrassment to power half of Chicago. Ryan pulled his hand away and rubbed his face. Sorry. Apparently I have forgotten how personal space works. Logan flexed his suddenly empty fingers. I was considering charging rent. Ryan laughed, soft and tired, and Logan hated how relieved that sound made him feel. Then Ryan glanced at him. Did I say anything weird? There it was. Logan had imagined this question for the last 23 minutes. He had prepared several reasonable answers. Somehow, when the moment arrived, every one of them abandoned him. You snored like a dying lawnmower. Ryan stared at him. I do not snore. You absolutely do. You are a terrible liar. Logan's stomach tightened. Ryan smiled and looked away, apparently unaware of how close he had come to the truth. By the time they reached Chicago, rain had turned the streets silver. Ryan checked his phone and groaned. His rideshare estimate had climbed to almost $40. Stay at my place, Logan said, too quickly. Ryan looked up. You sure? You have slept on my couch approximately 900 times. That number feels scientifically questionable. 897. Ryan bumped his shoulder against Logan's as they walked toward the exit. There is the annoying man I know. Logan smiled, but the words from the train followed him all the way home. Don't leave yet. At Logan's apartment, Ryan kicked off his shoes and wandered toward the hallway closet with the confidence of someone who had stopped being a guest years ago. He returned wearing Logan's faded navy hoodie. You know, Logan said, most people ask before stealing clothes. Ryan looked down at himself. This became communal property in 2023. That is not how ownership works. Take me to court. It should have felt ordinary. It had always felt ordinary. Tonight, Logan noticed the sleeves covering half Ryan's hands. He noticed Ryan knew exactly which cabinet held the tea. He noticed how naturally Ryan existed inside his home. Logan suddenly wondered how many pieces of their friendship had been quietly pretending to be something else. An hour later, Ryan was stretched across the couch beneath a blanket, eyes nearly closed. Logan set a glass of water on the coffee table. Get some sleep. He turned toward his bedroom. Fingers closed gently around his wrist. Logan stopped. Ryan's eyes were barely open. Stay for a minute? The same ache from the train returned, deeper this time. Logan sat on the edge of the couch. Ryan released his wrist but did not move away. Neither of them mentioned the train. Neither mentioned the whispered name. Rain tapped softly against the windows while the apartment settled around them. Within minutes, Ryan was asleep again. Logan remained beside him, staring at the familiar face he had known for 6 years, wondering when familiarity had become longing. Then he noticed Ryan's hand resting between them, palm open, as if even asleep. Some part of him was still waiting for Logan to take it. Logan did not take Ryan's hand. He wanted to. That was the problem. Instead, he pulled the blanket a little higher over Ryan's shoulder and went to bed, where he spent the next hour staring at the ceiling and reconsidering approximately 6 years of his life. Memory was dangerous once you gave it a new question. Had Ryan always looked at him that way? Or was Logan rewriting history because of one whispered sentence on a train? He remembered the winter his car died outside Madison. Logan had called Ryan mostly to complain. 3 hours later, Ryan had appeared with coffee, jumper cables, and an expression that said Logan was an idiot worth rescuing. He remembered Ryan's mother having surgery 2 years later. Logan had spent the night beside Ryan in the hospital waiting room. Around 3 in the morning, Ryan had fallen asleep with his head against Logan's arm. Logan had stayed perfectly still until sunrise. There had been other moments. Hundreds of them. Ryan remembering exactly how Logan took his coffee. Logan keeping Ryan's favorite cereal in his kitchen without ever discussing it. Ryan calling after bad dates, good days, terrible meetings, and once because he had seen a dog wearing rain boots and apparently that information could not wait. There was also the night after Ryan's breakup. Ryan had shown up at Logan's apartment carrying nothing but his keys and a silence that scared Logan more than tears would have. Logan had made tea. Ryan had barely touched it. Eventually, he had leaned against Logan on the couch and whispered, "Can I stay here tonight?" Logan had answered, "You never have to ask." He had meant the couch. Maybe he had meant more. The next morning, Ryan was already awake. When Logan entered the kitchen, "Morning," Ryan said, holding out a mug. Logan accepted it and looked inside. Coffee, 2 sugars, a little cream. Perfect, obviously. You are disturbingly comfortable in my apartment. Your coffee maker likes me better. My coffee maker has terrible judgment. Ryan smiled. For 1 second, neither man looked away. Something quiet passed between them. Something Logan almost trusted. Then Ryan's phone rang. "Hey, Claire," Ryan said, stepping toward the window. Logan tried not to listen. He failed immediately. "Yeah, I have been thinking about it." Ryan paused, looking out at the wet street below. "No, I know. I was scared before." Logan stopped with his coffee halfway to his mouth. Ryan lowered his voice, but the apartment was too quiet. "Yeah, I think I am ready to try again." Logan's chest tightened. Try again. Ryan had spent months recovering from his breakup. Logan had watched him rebuild himself piece by piece. Of course this was coming. Of course Ryan would eventually want someone again. Logan just had not expected 4 words to hurt this much. Ryan ended the call and turned around. "Sorry about that." No problem. Logan smiled. It felt almost convincing. Ryan studied him. You okay? Perfect. Another lie. Ryan knew it. Logan could see that immediately. But this time Ryan did not challenge him. Later, when Ryan left wearing his own jacket but still accidentally carrying Logan's navy hoodie in his bag, Logan stood alone in the doorway. The apartment felt strangely larger without him. Logan finally understood what scared him most. It was not discovering that he loved his best friend. It was discovering it just in time to watch Ryan choose somebody else. For the next 6 days, Logan became very busy in ways that were almost impressive considering most of them were completely invented. Ryan texted Tuesday asking if Logan wanted dinner. Logan claimed the theater had a late sound check. Wednesday, Ryan sent a picture of a crooked handwritten sign outside a coffee shop with the message, "This feels like something you would make after 2 hours of sleep." Logan stared at it for 5 minutes before replying with a single laughing emoji. Thursday came with another invitation. Logan said he had plans. He did. His plans were sitting alone on his couch, eating takeout, and feeling miserable about lying to his best friend. By Friday, Ryan stopped asking. That should have made things easier. It did not. Logan kept reaching for his phone whenever something happened at work. A lighting cue failed during rehearsal, and his first instinct was to tell Ryan. Someone brought cinnamon rolls into the break room, and Logan almost sent Ryan a picture because Ryan had an unreasonable emotional commitment to cream cheese frosting. Every ordinary moment seemed to contain a space shaped exactly like him. Saturday evening, Logan was adjusting audio levels in the empty theater when his phone buzzed. Ryan, are you avoiding me? Logan stared at the message until the screen dimmed. He typed no, deleted it, typed busy week, deleted that too. Finally, he locked his phone and slipped it into his pocket. Coward, he thought. Accurate, unfortunately. He got home shortly after 9 and found Ryan sitting on the floor outside his apartment door. Logan stopped. Ryan looked up. He was wearing jeans, a charcoal coat, and the expression he usually reserved for damaged books that could not be repaired with patience alone. You have a key, Logan said quietly. Felt weird using it when you apparently do not want me around. That landed exactly where Ryan intended. Logan unlocked the door. Come inside. Ryan followed him in, but stayed near the entryway. No wandering into the kitchen. No stealing a drink from the refrigerator. No dropping onto the couch like he lived there. Somehow that distance felt worse than anger. Did I do something? Ryan asked. No, then what happened? Nothing happened. Ryan gave a short, humorless laugh. 6 years, Logan. You really think I cannot tell when you are lying? Logan looked away. Ryan stepped closer. Last weekend we were fine. Then suddenly you are working every night. You barely answer me. And I have spent 4 days wondering what I did wrong. You did not do anything wrong. Then why does it feel like I lost my best friend overnight? Logan finally looked at him. Ryan was not angry anymore. That would have been easier. He looked hurt. Logan wanted to tell him everything. The train, the whisper, the way holding Ryan's hand had made every carefully locked door inside him swing open. Instead, he thought about that phone call. Ready to try again. Maybe we have been around each other too much, Logan said. Ryan went still. What? Logan hated the sentence before it had even finished leaving his mouth. Maybe a little space would be good. Silence filled the apartment. Ryan nodded once, slowly. Right. Ryan. No. It is fine. It clearly was not. Ryan reached for the door, then stopped with his hand on the knob. Whatever I did, I wish you would let me fix it. The door closed softly behind him. Logan leaned his forehead against it. Eyes shut. On the other side, footsteps should have followed. They did not. What Logan could not see was Ryan standing inches away, his own forehead resting against the same door, neither man moving, both waiting for the other to say the one thing neither of them was brave enough to say. You do not get to push me away and then look at me like that. Logan's entire body went still. 1 week had passed since Ryan walked out of his apartment, and somehow they had managed not to speak beyond 2 painfully polite text messages. Then their friend Melissa invited both of them to a small Saturday night gathering at her place in Lincoln Park. Logan almost stayed home. He probably should have. Instead, he arrived late and found Ryan standing near the kitchen, laughing with a man Logan had never seen before. The stranger leaned closer to say something. Ryan smiled. Logan hated how quickly jealousy found him. It was unreasonable, embarrassing, completely unfair. Ryan was free to talk to anyone he wanted. Logan was the one who had asked for space. Apparently, space felt much better in theory. He escaped onto the balcony, where cool night air moved between the buildings. A minute later, the door opened behind him. Logan did not turn around. Having fun? Ryan asked. Sure. Interesting. You have spent most of the night pretending I am furniture. I am giving you space. No. You are hiding. Logan finally faced him. I thought space was what we needed. You decided that. I did not. Ryan stepped closer, frustration tightening his voice. And now you have been staring at me all night. I have not. You have. Maybe I was looking at the guy beside you. Ryan folded his arms. His name is Daniel. Great. He works with Melissa. Fantastic. Ryan stared at him for a beat. Are you jealous? Logan almost laughed because the alternative was admitting something terrifying. No. You are terrible at lying to me. The words struck differently this time. Logan looked toward the street. Why do you care? Ryan's expression changed. Why do I care? You are moving on. That is what you wanted. Confusion crossed Ryan's face. What are you talking about? Logan immediately knew he had said too much. Forget it. He moved toward the door, but Ryan caught his forearm gently. No, you do not get to disappear for a week. Show up here acting jealous, and then tell me to forget it. Logan looked down at Ryan's hand. Ryan released him immediately, but neither stepped away. They were close now. Too close for pretending to feel easy. I am trying not to ruin this, Logan said quietly. Ryan's anger softened. Ruin what? Logan could hear music through the glass behind them, distant laughter, the ordinary sounds of a room where nobody knew his entire life had narrowed to the man standing 3 feet away. Us. Ryan's eyes searched his face. Logan. His name sounded almost exactly as it had on the train. Logan swallowed. Ryan moved half a step closer. His gaze dropped briefly to Logan's mouth, then returned to his eyes. Logan noticed. Of course he noticed. Ryan lifted one hand slowly and rested his fingers against the side of Logan's neck. The touch was warm, careful, almost a question. Logan's heart answered before his courage could. He leaned forward slightly. Ryan did too. For one suspended second, there was barely any space left between them. Then fear arrived. Logan stepped back. Ryan's hand fell away. The hurt on his face was immediate. Ryan, I cannot lose you. Ryan stared at him, and something almost like disbelief entered his expression. You really do not know, do you? No. What? Ryan shook his head, eyes shining with something Logan could not read. That is the problem. Then he opened the balcony door and walked inside, leaving Logan alone with the terrible realization that whatever truth he had been afraid of, Ryan had apparently been carrying one too. I heard you that morning. Ryan's voice was so quiet that Logan almost thought he had imagined it. 2 days had passed since the balcony. 2 days of Logan replaying the same 4 words until they followed him through work, dinner, and another nearly sleepless night. You really do not know. By Monday evening, not knowing had become worse than being afraid. Logan knew Ryan stayed late at the university library on Mondays, so shortly before closing, he found himself standing outside the conservation room, where Ryan restored damaged books. Ryan looked up from his work table when Logan entered. Surprise crossed his face, followed quickly by caution. What are you doing here? Logan closed the door gently behind him. Trying to stop being an idiot. Ryan glanced back at the book beneath his hands. That sounds ambitious. Under different circumstances, Logan would have laughed. Tonight, he stepped closer. What did you mean Saturday? Ryan became still. Logan, you said I did not know something. So tell me. Ryan looked exhausted suddenly. I do not know if that is a good idea. Neither was avoiding you. I tried that. It was awful. That earned the smallest movement at the corner of Ryan's mouth, but it disappeared quickly. Logan took a breath. I heard your phone call with Claire. Ryan frowned. What phone call? The morning after the wedding. You told her you were ready to try again. Understanding arrived slowly, then all at once. Oh, Logan. I thought you meant your ex. Ryan stared at him. You thought I wanted to go back to him? Logan shoved his hands into his coat pockets. What else was I supposed to think? You could have asked me. And say what? Please clarify your romantic future because apparently I have developed feelings about it. Silence. Logan realized what he had admitted approximately 1 second too late. Ryan's expression softened. Feelings. Logan looked away. That is not the important part. It feels fairly important from where I am standing. Ryan. Claire was asking if I thought I could let myself care about someone again. Logan forced himself to meet his eyes. And you said yes. I did. Who? Ryan laughed once, but there was no humor in it. Only nerves. You really need me to say it? Logan's heartbeat became painfully loud. Ryan walked around the table and stopped in front of him. It was you. Everything inside Logan went quiet. Ryan continued before Logan could speak. It has been you for longer than I wanted to admit. I kept telling myself it was gratitude or comfort or that we were just unusually close. Then my relationship ended, and the person I wanted beside me was you. Every time. Logan could barely breathe. The train, he whispered. Ryan closed his eyes briefly. I remember. You were asleep. Mostly. Logan stared. Ryan opened his eyes again. Vulnerability stripped away every trace of his usual composure. I remembered your shoulder. Your hand. Saying your name. Why did you ask if you said anything weird? Because I was hoping you had not heard me. Logan's chest tightened. You said, do not leave yet. Ryan nodded. I know. What were you dreaming about? Ryan looked at him for a long moment. I was not dreaming about you, Logan. Logan's hope dropped so quickly it almost hurt. Then Ryan stepped closer. I was dreaming about us. The room seemed to shrink around them. There was an apartment I did not recognize. Your shoes were by the door. My books were everywhere. You were making coffee and complaining that I kept stealing your hoodies. Logan stared at him. Ryan's voice softened. It felt like home. Suddenly, every memory Logan had been questioning rearranged itself. The late-night calls. The hospital waiting room. The 3-hour drive. The open hand on the couch. None of it had been proof by itself. Together, it became something neither of them could keep pretending not to see. Ryan swallowed. So when you pulled away Saturday, I thought I had finally gotten my answer. Logan stepped closer until only inches remained between them. You did not. Ryan looked up. Then, what is the answer? Logan's voice trembled. I think I have been in love with my best friend for a very long time. For several seconds, Ryan said nothing. Logan could hear the faint hum of the library ventilation system, the soft ticking of a clock somewhere beyond the conservation room, and his own heartbeat making a complete fool of him. Ryan's eyes searched his face as though he was afraid one wrong movement might wake them both from this moment. Say that again, Ryan whispered. Logan let out a nervous breath. I am not sure my dignity can survive a second performance. Ryan almost smiled. Logan. There it was again. His name in that voice. Logan looked at him and stopped hiding. I am in love with you. Ryan's eyes immediately filled with emotion. He looked down for a second, pressing his lips together, then laughed softly like he had been holding his breath for years. Logan reached for him, but stopped halfway. Can I? Ryan looked at the unfinished gesture, then back at Logan. Please. Logan rested his hand against Ryan's cheek. The touch was simple, almost painfully gentle. Ryan leaned into his palm without thinking, and something inside Logan broke open. 6 years of ordinary touches suddenly came rushing back, shoulders bumping in crowded hallways. Ryan asleep against his arm in a hospital waiting room. Logan fixing Ryan's crooked tie before job interviews. Hands passing coffee cups. Hugs that lasted 1 second too long. All those moments they had filed under friendship because neither had been brave enough to create another category. Ryan covered Logan's hand with his own. I was so scared I had imagined all of it, he said. You did not. Then why did you pull away from me? Logan's smile faded. Because if I kissed you and you regretted it, I thought I would lose the most important person in my life. Ryan stepped closer. And when you started avoiding me, I thought I already had. The words landed harder than Logan expected. I am sorry. I know. No, I mean it. I thought distance would protect us. Ryan gave him a sad little smile. It was terrible protection. Logan laughed, and Ryan did too, the tension loosening just enough for them to breathe. Then silence returned, softer this time. Logan's thumb moved gently across Ryan's cheek. If we do this, what happens to us? Ryan considered him for a moment. Maybe we stop pretending that us only means friendship. Logan's throat tightened. That sounds terrifying. Completely. Good. Ryan blinked. Good. I would be concerned if I were the only one panicking. Ryan laughed again, and Logan realized this was what he wanted. Not some perfect movie moment. Ryan. Nervous, familiar, standing close enough that Logan could see every emotion crossing his face. Logan leaned forward, then stopped. Can I kiss you? Ryan's answer came quietly. Yes. Their first kiss was gentle and brief, almost cautious. When they separated, They stared at each other in stunned silence. Then Logan started laughing. Ryan narrowed his eyes. What? 6 years. 6 years. And that is our first kiss. Ryan's cheeks turned pink. I was trying not to scare you. You drove 3 hours through Wisconsin winter weather because my car would not start. You have never been subtle. Ryan smiled, stepped closer, and slipped his arms around Logan's waist. Fine. Let me try again. The second kiss lasted longer, still soft, but without the fear. Logan's hand settled at the back of Ryan's neck while Ryan held him like letting go was no longer necessary. When they finally pulled apart, Ryan rested his forehead against Logan's. Logan closed his eyes. What now? Ryan whispered. Logan wrapped both arms around him. Now I stop leaving. Ryan held him tighter, and for the first time since that night on the train, Logan understood exactly what Ryan had been asking for. The first week of dating his best friend taught Logan one deeply inconvenient truth. Falling in love with Ryan had changed almost nothing, and somehow it had changed everything. Ryan still sent him pictures of badly repaired book spines from the library with captions only Logan would find funny. Logan still called Ryan during his walk home from the theater. They still argued over whose turn it was to buy coffee, and Ryan still stole the navy hoodie he had apparently claimed through some imaginary legal process. But now when Ryan showed up at Logan's apartment on Friday evening wearing that hoodie, Logan could smile, catch his hand, and pull him into a quiet kiss before asking how his day went. The first time it happened, Ryan stood there afterward looking stunned. What? Logan asked. Nothing. That is clearly a something face. Ryan smiled. I just like that we can do that now. Logan understood. Their relationship did not become a series of dramatic romantic moments. It became smaller things. Better things. Ryan reaching for Logan's hand while they crossed Michigan Avenue. Then looking down at their joined fingers with a smile he tried unsuccessfully to hide. Logan bringing Ryan lunch at the library because Ryan had mentioned that morning that he would probably forget to eat. Ryan straightening Logan's collar before a theater fundraiser, his fingers lingering for half a second before he whispered, There. Handsome. Logan nearly forgot where he was supposed to be going. There were awkward moments too. Their first official date ended with both men standing outside Ryan's building, suddenly behaving like strangers who had met 20 minutes earlier. So, Logan said, Do I hug you? Ryan stared at him. We have hugged approximately 4,000 times. Yes, but now it is a date hug. There may be regulations. Ryan laughed so hard he had to look away. Then he stepped forward, wrapped both arms around Logan, and held him close. Still feels like us, Ryan murmured. Logan rested his cheek against Ryan's hair. Yeah, that was what surprised him most. He had spent so long believing romance would destroy the friendship that he had never considered another possibility. Maybe love did not require them to become different people. Maybe it simply gave them permission to stop hiding parts of who they already were. A few nights later, Logan fell asleep on the couch during a movie. When he woke, his head was resting on Ryan's shoulder. Ryan was reading beside him, one hand loosely holding a book while the other rested over Logan's fingers. How long was I asleep? Logan asked. 40 minutes. Why did you not move me? Ryan looked down at him. You looked comfortable. Logan smiled. My neck is going to hate you tomorrow. Your neck complains about everything. Logan closed his eyes again. Ryan squeezed his hand. No uncertainty. No guessing. Just warmth. Later, in the kitchen, Ryan stood at the counter making tea while wearing Logan's hoodie again. Logan walked behind him and wrapped his arms around his waist. Ryan immediately relaxed against him. You know, Logan murmured, I am never getting this hoodie back. Correct. Logan rested his chin on Ryan's shoulder. The scene struck him with unexpected force. Ryan in his kitchen, their coffee mugs beside the sink. Ryan's books beginning to appear on Logan's shelves. It looked almost exactly like the dream Ryan had described. Logan tightened his arms around him. What? Ryan asked softly. Logan smiled against his shoulder. Nothing. But it was not nothing. It was the realization that they had not crossed out of friendship and into love. They had been walking toward love together for years, one coffee, one late-night phone call, one quiet act of care at a time. They had simply been too afraid to call the road by its name. 3 months later, Logan found himself back on a late train with Ryan beside him, and the symmetry was almost ridiculous. They had spent the weekend visiting friends outside Chicago, and now the city lights were beginning to appear beyond the dark windows. Logan glanced at the clock and smiled. You have about 20 minutes before you fall asleep on me. Ryan looked offended. I am wide awake. You said that last time. Last time there was an open bar and a wedding reception. Excuses. Ryan nudged Logan with his shoulder. You survived. Logan looked at him. Barely. Ryan smiled. And even after 3 months, Logan still felt that quiet pull in his chest whenever Ryan looked at him like that. Dating had not erased 6 years of friendship. It had made those years feel like a language they had finally learned to translate. Ryan still called when something funny happened at work. Logan still knew when Ryan was worried before Ryan admitted it. They still had disagreements, bad moods, busy weeks, and evenings when conversation meant sitting quietly together. The difference was that silence no longer contained fear. Ryan reached across the seat and took Logan's hand. No hesitation. Their fingers fit together with the ease of repetition now. Logan rubbed his thumb across Ryan's knuckles. Tired? Maybe a little. Called it. Do not become unbearable about this. Too late. Ryan rested his head against Logan's shoulder. Logan smiled toward the window. The position was so familiar that his body remembered the first time before his mind did. The dark train. Ryan's sleeping weight. A whispered name. An open hand searching for his. Logan remembered sitting perfectly still because he had been terrified that moving even an inch might end the moment. Now Ryan shifted closer without asking, and Logan rested his cheek lightly against Ryan's hair. Several quiet minutes passed. Logan, Ryan murmured. Logan's heart gave the same foolish stumble it had months ago. He looked down. Ryan's eyes were closed. Logan smiled. Yeah, I love you. Logan went completely still. Then he laughed softly. You are awake this time. One of Ryan's eyes opened. That was the idea. You practiced that, did you not? Absolutely not. You waited until we were on a train, put your head on the exact same shoulder, closed your eyes, and said my name. Ryan opened both eyes now. Maybe I appreciate thematic consistency. Logan laughed, and Ryan lifted his head. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. No uncertainty lived there anymore. Logan touched Ryan's cheek. I love you too. Ryan's expression softened in that particular way Logan had once spent years pretending not to notice. Then Ryan leaned forward and kissed him. It was gentle, familiar, and unhurried. When they separated, Ryan returned his head to Logan's shoulder and intertwined their fingers again. Outside, Chicago moved closer, window by window, light by light. Logan thought about all the years they had spent loving each other indirectly. Coffee made exactly right. 3-hour drives. Hospital waiting rooms. Borrowed hoodies. Phone calls that never needed a reason. Maybe love had not arrived suddenly after all. Maybe it had been there in every quiet choice to stay. The first time Ryan had called Logan's name like that, he had needed sleep to make him brave enough to say what he wanted. This time, Ryan was completely awake. And Logan no longer had to wonder what his name meant when Ryan said it.